The ministers live in a different world. This estate behind me is a golf course, 15 tennis courts, swimming pools, a basketball court, manicured lawns. Completely out of touch with the reality of life, and it's protected 24 hours by SAP. So it's little wonder the President and this cabinet don't take crime seriously. So what we want to do is to bring oversight and accountability in terms of the Ministerial Handbook. Currently the President has carte blanche to write into that what he wants. And as we saw, last year under the cover of darkness, he slipped in the free generators, free water and free electricity. That cannot be right. That needs to be brought to Parliament, and there needs to be proper oversight of these particular benefits so that we can ensure that there's transparency and accountability. It is grotesque that in a country with 42% unemployment, a country with 30 million people who live in poverty, that we have ministers living it up like rock stars in cabinet world, far removed from the real world.
So how long will it take to push through with this private member's bill?
Well, we will obviously be tabling it by the end of this parliamentary session, but we want to actually make sure that it's done. But the short circuit here, of course, is to vote for a DA government. Then we can put the for sale sign up here for real and get this thing sold and make sure that we are able to use the money on the people of South Africa, not the politicians.
So DA ministers would not live at Bryntirion, ministerial residence?
DA ministers living in Bryntirion. And here's the thing. I think it would be far more cost effective to move to a subsidy system where if you're required to have a residence in Cape Town, there's a subsidy for you. I think it will also be good for ministers to live in real communities, to face the daily challenges that ordinary South Africans face. You can have your security, provided there's a security threat, but use the roads that people do. Travel the way that other people travel. See what real world is like here, and you'll see how far it's removed from the cabinet world that you've been living in.
Mr. Steenhuisen, this morning the President in his weekly letter said that it's unfortunate that the announcement of the two new ministers has been reduced to a head counting exercise, and that it's not looking at the purpose for which then he has increased his cabinet, even going as far as saying that when he came in, there were 34 ministers, he reduced it to 28, and now it's gone to 30, but fit for purpose, basically.
30 and 36 deputy ministers. I think he's now got more deputy ministers than Jacob Zuma had. This is not a president who's serious about cutting the size of his cabinet down at all, and he's had to bring in another minister because the other two ministers have failed so spectacularly to do their job. Now he's layering another minister on top of that. So now you're going to have 4 ministers hacking around over the electricity crisis. You're going to have Pravin Gordhan, Gwede Mantashe, Sputler, and now the new Minister of Cooperative Governance, who's in charge of the disaster management regulations. The thing we needed here was less ministers. Bring in the private sector, bring in people who have energy expertise, people who have done these processes before. Layering more ministers on is not going to solve the problem, and all the President's trying to do is consolidate more and more power in his grand presidency, where there's little oversight of it, and he's not really serious about changing the electricity crisis. And as you've seen, neither is the new minister. He said, no new plans, nothing to see here, business as usual.